Hello, my name is Derek Cross. I am a student at Colorado State University Global Campus within the PJM 500 Project Management course under the instruction of Dr. Priscilla Harrison. This presentation is a discussion of developing project management methodology and includes analysis of a case study. Let's begin by taking a brief look at the content covered in this presentation and how it will be structured. The purpose of this presentation is to explore the development of a project management methodology and to analyze a case study. Through this, we will discuss how the distinct components of a methodology work in harmony to make the overall management of projects more effective. We will discuss project life cycles and phases, how enterprise project management can influence project work on an organizational scale, how a project management office can help standardize governance processes and facilitate knowledge sharing across business units, and how project management systems can provide project managers with higher levels of efficiency and reliability, as well as enable an easier exchange of information. To begin, we will look at a brief overview of the case study. We will then discuss the project lifecycle and phases before moving on to discussing enterprise project management methodology. We will then analyze the project management office, as well as how global organizations must approach development of a project management methodology while considering unique aspects. Finally, we will discuss project management systems and how they can help project managers work more effectively. Throughout each portion of this presentation, we will use each component as a means to analyze the provided case study. First, let's take a look at the provided case study. An unnamed company has recently struggled to be competitive in their marketplace. Customers have begun to require proof of a methodology used for managing their projects, and many contracts have been lost because the company currently does not have a defined methodology in place. To resolve this, the company president issued an ultimatum to the senior executives. They have 6 months to develop a methodology, or he would need to intervene. The company elected to form a project management office, or PMO, but a consultant warned the executives that whichever business unit controlled the PMO would likely wield a greater level of power than the others. This caused reluctance amongst the executive team, as they were unsure how their departments would be affected in the long term. During this period of hesitation, project management efforts continued to suffer until the executives finally formed a PMO that reports to the Chief Information Officer. This newly formed PMO decided there were 5 steps that needed to take place to implement a project management methodology for the organization. Establish lifecycle phases, determine how rigid the methodology should be, create a standardized document package, capture best practices within individual projects, and provide education and training to the rest of the company. Over the allotted 6-month period, the PMO would provide the executive team with monthly updates and progress reports, as well as a final briefing at the end of implementation. Now that we are familiar with the case study, let's discuss the project lifecycle and phases. The exact type and number of phases within a project lifecycle depends on multiple factors, but the 2 most important components are the delivery cadence and the development approach. Delivery cadence is simply defined as the timing or frequency of project deliverables, while the development approach is defined by the Project Management Institute as the means to create and evolve the product, service, or result. Examples of different project phases are feasibility, or analyzing the viability of a project prior to starting development work, the actual design and build processes, testing and deployment, and project closing activities. These phases are often separated by stage gates, which act as checkpoints to ensure all necessary work is complete before moving on to the next phase of a project. As stated, one of the most important factors in determining the type and number of phases in a project lifecycle is the delivery cadence. Again, this is the timing and frequency of project deliverables. One category of delivery cadence is called single delivery, which provides a single project deliverable when the project closes out. Another category is multiple or periodic deliveries. Here, deliveries occur at different times throughout the project and either can be separate or sequential in nature. The main difference between multiple deliveries and periodic deliveries is that periodic deliveries happen on a fixed schedule, for example, every 2 weeks. The final category of delivery cadence is known as continuous delivery. Here, features are incrementally delivered to the customer through work done in small batches. This type of cadence is most typically found in digital products. The second major influence on the type and number of phases in a project lifecycle is the development approach. As a reminder, the Project Management Institute defines the development approach as the means to create and evolve the product, service, or result. The first development approach is predictive. This approach is useful when all project requirements can be gathered at the project start. The predictive approach reduces uncertainty by defining scope, schedule, risks, and more early in the process. Another development approach is the adaptive approach. This approach is useful when project requirements are uncertain and likely to change over time. The project requirements are refined throughout the lifecycle based on user feedback, the product environment, or other unexpected events. The final approach is a hybrid method. This is a combination of both the predictive and adaptive approaches. This development approach is most useful when project deliverables are modular or developed by separate teams. In the given case study, the Project Management Office elected to use a predictive development approach. They had well-defined deliverables and risks and an experienced team of project managers working on the deliverables. They also elected to use a periodic delivery cadence. They would provide the executive team with monthly updates and progress reports, as well as a final briefing at project close. The individual phases can be broken down as follows. During the initiating phase, the PMO determined the 5 necessary steps for implementing a project management methodology. In the planning phase, they would establish the number of phases and determine the rigidity of the methodology. Then, in the executing phase, the PMO would focus on document creation and standardization, as well as training employees on the new methodology. Finally, in the closure phase, they would provide their final briefing and findings to the executive team. Now, let's discuss Enterprise Project Management methodology. Enterprise Project Management, or EPM, methodology is the practice of managing projects on an organizational scale. In their book 2012, Dinsmore and Rocha write that the focus of EPM is ensuring projects are aligned with overall strategy, are balanced with respect to corporate priorities, and succeed by establishing a well-defined approach that all parties understand and agree to. A well-developed EPM creates a standardized methodology to efficiently and intelligently handle the many projects and programs demanded by customers. In this way, EPM is the organization-wide methodology for project management. In our case study, there were 5 standards set by the Project Management Office. The first is a maximum of 6 lifecycle phases. This prevents project managers from spending large amounts of time just preparing for gate review meetings. It enables them to focus on managing projects. The second is an informal management approach. This allows flexibility and tailored approaches for each individual customer. By utilizing more approaches, the organization will quickly learn more best practices. However, this could create confusion early on without a truly standardized approach. The third is a standardized documentation pool. All documents within the pool adhere to the PMBOK guide, and it is up to the project manager's discretion to select appropriate documents for their individual customers. This approach relies on project management knowledge and skill to be successful. The fourth standard is the capturing of best practices at the end of each project. This is a commitment to continuous improvement of the project management process, and over time will increase the maturity of the methodology. The final standard is a commitment to project management, education, and training. Company employees will receive a 1-day training class to quickly bring them up to speed on the organization's new approach to project management. This formal training will lower the barrier to entry and make it easier for employees to work within the new system from the beginning. Now, let's continue on to discuss the Project Management Office. The Project Management Institute defines the Project Management Office as management structure that standardizes project-related governance processes and facilitates the sharing of resources, tools, methodologies, and techniques. The goal of the PMO is to improve project management in terms of schedule, cost, quality, and risk. There are multiple benefits to an organization that has a quality PMO. The PMO can foster delivery and outcome-oriented capabilities. It can be the organization's true champion of project-based execution. It can also keep the big picture perspective and determine the best route for the organization, not just one department or business unit. Finally, the PMO can aid in continuous improvement initiatives, project management knowledge transfer, and change management efforts. As stated, the PMO governs project management processes and knowledge sharing among other business units. In the case study, there is a fear among executives that the business unit that controlled the PMO would have more power. This led to a delay of implementation and had further negative impact on the organization as a result. To dissipate this perceived power imbalance, the company could have formed a PMO business unit that reports directly to the president. This way, no business unit gains power over another, and there is better visibility for strategic level projects and high priority initiatives. What unique aspects of developing a project management methodology are presented to global organizations? The first is the need to account for cultural or language differences. The methodology must be developed in a common language for communicating across all cultures or languages within the organization. The methodology also needs to be clear and concise in each individual operating culture or language. The second is the need to account for time zone differences. It can be challenging to coordinate meeting times and rely solely on asynchronous communication. However, long-duration maintenance tasks can actually become easier and be divided between multiple teams at designated handoff points. Another interesting aspect to note is that all information is exchanged on a formal basis. In his 2009 paper, Binder argues that there are no opportunities for coffee machine chats in a globally operating organization. There are no opportunities for colleagues to meet over lunch and casually discuss projects. All information exchanged must be intentional and clear to all parties. Finally, let's discuss project management systems. A project management system, or PMS, is a combination of processes, procedures, and software or other technology that aids in the management of projects. A quality PMS offers efficiency and reliability in performance and easier exchange of information. A PMS has benefits for every level of the organization. It allows project managers to focus on project management tasks rather than arduous information collecting. Team members can clearly view their assigned responsibilities and role for the project. Stakeholders benefit from the proactive project reporting. Finally, the organization as a whole gains better visibility into strategic level projects, fosters a culture of collaboration, and elevates the level of its project management maturity. As stated, PMS processes, procedures, and software all aid in project management efforts. Implementing a PMS would be a great benefit to the company in the case study. Project managers would be able to focus on tasks that require their specialized knowledge and skills, like selecting proper documentation packages. Team members would have role-specific information and assigned responsibilities to minimize confusion. The proactive project reporting would keep other business units and the company president up to date on developments and provide high visibility into this large-scale strategy-influencing project. What conclusions can we draw on the development of a project management methodology as a result of analyzing the case study and the associated information? For an organization to be most effective, all components of its chosen project management methodology must work together. The project lifecycle and associated phases separate distinct project work activities and create natural stage gates that ensure all necessary work is done before proceeding into a new phase. An organization's EPM creates a standard and ensures the ongoing project work is aligned with company strategy. The PMO standardizes processes and facilitates knowledge sharing between the business units. When organizations operate on a global scale, facets of the EPM and PMO must be adapted to ensure projects are managed properly on a global level. Finally, a PMS provides project managers with higher levels of efficiency and reliability and enables an easier exchange of information across the organization. The cited references will follow shortly. Thank you for listening and have a great day.